I am very much excited to begin with the hands-on lab with you guys. As I promised that whenever you start learning Azure, it would be really a great idea to do more practical to understand the concept as well as deployment, because whenever your organization are looking for the deployment, obviously you should know where to go and how to do it. So hello guys, my name is Harsh Jangra, and in this video we are going to talk about how we can start deploying our availability zones. And of course the second important one is how we can choose and how we can start building our infrastructure in a paired region. Although in the last video I have explained you via Azure Site Recovery, because it's a part of our disaster recovery solution. So I give you one example that how you can use paired region as a part of a disaster recovery in terms of if one VM is down in one region, how you can make your VM highly available to other paired region with an easy way. Although yeah, we do have a separate training videos for disaster recovery, which I have a plan actually, and I'm making it at the moment. I'm working on it. But in this video, let's begin with a live demonstration that how you can start making your infrastructure and choose the right availability zones to make sure your VMs are highly available in terms of disaster situation. And if there's any impact on a one particular data center in a region, then how your VM is going to be available within the same region but in a different data center. That is all about availability zone. And just to recap guys, availability zone is actually a physically separated data centers from each other. So they have a separate cooling system, separate power, separate data centers, all physical resources available in different data centers, so that if one of the data center is impacted by power source or any other natural disaster, then you can still think of that your VM is available on other data center at the moment, because it has a separate physical infrastructure to maintain everything running on there. So another thing is about the paired region. Yeah, the purpose of this one is to make sure that it has a decent amount of distance from each other, because if any natural disaster happen, although it's not going to be happen very soon, but still, people can think of the cloud infrastructure or cloud solution provider come up with a solution that if you are really much care about your infrastructure, because it's mission critical sometime whenever we are we are using some application or deployed our web server or some kind of live database is going on, so everybody's do care about their infrastructure. So in that scenario you can also choose a paired region instead of a region if you think of this region may be impacted by power source, or maybe it has something bad is going to be happen. Maybe you heard some news, something like that. So we are going to learn more about in this video that how we can start deploy. So guys, let's not waste our time. Let's begin with the practical demonstration. Ho ho ho, I'm pretty excited and very much happy to start with this demonstration. So guys, once you're ready with your Microsoft free account, simply go to portal.azure.com and you can find this page. I think you already heard lots of time from my side, because I want to keep you always remember that you have to start doing practicing, or at least you should know where to go and how to start with. So guys, to begin with in today's demonstration for availability zones and paired region, the very first step is we are going to start with Azure Virtual Machine, where we are going to create a couple of Azure Virtual Machine and choose the right availability zones to make them highly available in the situation of disaster. So to begin with, we simply go to virtual machine here. Although I can tell you before to start with that if you have already deployed your infrastructure, or let's say create a virtual machine, you cannot choose availability zones after that. What does it mean? Let me show you. So simply click on virtual machine here in Azure portal, and I think you can see I have already created a virtual machine in Azure. So if I click on this, you can see that it is currently deployed in West US 2, which is absolutely fine with me at the moment. But there's no option to change or deploy or even update availability zone option after the deployment. And where you can see this option, if you go down, you can see currently my availability zones is not created or configured, and which is currently choose as not applicable. So as an example, if I simply also go to the configuration, or you can say the properties, or any kind of changes you would like to try, you don't find this option, or let's say if I click on configuration, you don't find any information here, or if any other option you can think of, I think no. So yeah guys, the point here is if your infrastructure or the VM has been already deployed, you cannot change or update availability zones after that. So what would be the right way? Because if I choose availability scaling, you can see that currently fault domain, nothing. Currently update domain, nothing, because it's a part of availability set. And don't worry, we will cover this in our next video. But right now, our option to start with availability zones. So to begin with, to configuring our availability zones, we need to start creating a new VMs. And for that, simply click on add, click on virtual machines. Once you click on virtual machine, the very first step is if your free account for Azure is already created, then simply choose the right subscription here if you have multiple subscriptions. But if you have already one, then yeah, that's absolutely fine. The next step is resource group. Yeah, let me help you here because we are going to learn as well about the resource groups too, because it's very important to maintain a free account, right? I will tell you that why it is important and how we can use resource group to manage our resources as well. So basically, resource group is all about whatever the resources you are currently creating in Azure platform, and you choose a specific name of a resource group. It means all sort of resources you are currently creating goes to that logical container. For example, if I create a resource group name here, or how about this? Let's create a new one as an example. I create a Harsh RG1 as an example. So the meaning of this one is I am going to create a new logical container in which I'm going to create this virtual machine. So whatever is associated during the deployment of virtual machine is going directly to this logical container. So whenever you are looking for the information about your resources, you simply need to go to this resource group and you can find all those information right in one place. I think you get my point, right? But if you don't, but don't worry, because in the end, I'm going to show you that where you can find your all resources and how you're going to use your resource group to, no need to talk right now at the moment. Let's focus on how we can start choosing right availability zones during the creation of our virtual machine. So the next step is, of course, to give the name of the virtual machine. So as an example, I'm going to give Harsh VM1 as an example. You can give any name. If you are opening a coffee shop, if you are opening a business, you can give any name you like, because it's really much identical for the information. So region. Now it is very much important, guys. I don't know if you remember that which region actually supports or has availability zones option enabled. If you don't, I highly recommend you to watch my previous video for availability zones and paired region, because you can find more information about these kind of regions, and there are multiple regions but not so many at the moment. So Microsoft is keep working on that, and as soon as they start make them available or highly available, those specific regions, they will introduce them as a part of availability zones. But at the moment we have a couple of availability zones. If you are live in India, you can choose Japan East. I think it's fine. And right now for this particular example, I'm going to choose East US2, so which is absolutely fine, and we also show that it has availability zones option enabled. So I choose here East US2, which is a good idea for me. Now next option to enable availability zone, you need to click on this availability options and choose availability zones. And now as soon as you click here, you can find there are three options available, 1, 2, and 3. So just need to make sure whenever you start deploying your infrastructure, choose different availability zones during the deployment. All right, don't be confused that you need to choose the same availability zone. If you choose the same availability zones, the next VM is also gonna be stored in that particular one data center. I think it's not a good idea, and that is not exactly the meaning of availability zones. So for this VM, because this is the first VM, we are going to choose availability 1, or you can choose 2, 3. It's all up to you. The next one is I'm going to choose the Windows operating system instead of Ubuntu. I'm going to choose Windows 10. So let's choose Windows 10, and it doesn't matter, I'm going to choose here this Windows 10 Pro version 2004. So right now, spot instance, I don't care about this. Now, next important thing is the size. Guys, I'm pretty sure you guys are using free account, and it does not have so much money in it. And if you would like to do the practices and you would like to play around with something, I think it would be a great idea to choose the right VM size to do the practices. At the moment, on the right hand side, you can see the cost per month is coming up. So very soon you can find that how much dollar it can be available for one particular DS size, because it is based on number of CPUs, RAMs, your hard drives, all sort of thing. So as an example, you can choose a B1LS for just for testing purposes, because in this video we are not going to jump inside the VM for better understand, because inside the VM you won't find any changes. It simply looks like an operating system which is running absolutely fine. So that's why, but because B1LS is the most cheapest one, just for your reference, you can choose, for me at least, because I have enough money at the moment, I can choose DSV2 as well. And I'm sorry, it's taking some time to load the cost, but I think when you go here, you can find a little bit more information here as well. So I'm going to just select here as select size. And yeah, as you can see, the cost here is $83 per month. Right? So simply you need to choose the right storage. Wow. Now finally, finally the cost is coming up. So based on your requirement, you can choose it. So guys, my mistake, I choose DS2. It's very, very expensive for me as well. So I'm going to choose B1MS as an example. And I think $15 is good for me at the moment. So I choose select, and that's fine. The next step is give the name of the username, because with this username we are going to logged in into the VM. So I like to give the name here is, like, for me, I can give this name. You can give any name you want. And after that, just give the password. Now, password is up and fine. The next one is we have public inbound ports. Now guys, it's all about security. And it's a part of network security group. We also called NSG. So just like a firewall, we have some kind of network security groups. Actually, it's a kind of a virtual appliance which will help you to deploy your infrastructure and allow certain port number to be communicated and certain port number to be blocked. Certainly we have in upcoming video, I can show you where this option is or are, where there you can choose inbound and outbound ports, or permissions can be allowed with based on allow or explicit or you can say a deny situation here. But at this moment, let's begin with to allow port number or specific port number which is required to connect this VM, that is RDP. So once you click on allowed selected port, just go to RDP, select RDP because the port number is 3389. As long as you choose here, that means it allows us to communicate this VM via RDP. And I'm going to show you once this VM is ready to use, basically. So I think it's all fine. And yeah, one last thing, also the licensing, because in this one, we also need to give the permission to allow to use the license for the operating system. So it is a mandatory step, and it is important to choose this option during the creation or the deployment. And we also have a couple of more options, but at this moment we are not focusing on these options because we have chosen the availability zones correctly, and that's our motive in this video. Once you're ready, let's begin with review and create. As long as you click on review and create, it will check the validation, and once the validation is passed, just hit create, and yeah, validation is passed already now. Now just click on create, and now it will help us to begin to create our VM and make them ready very fast. Now another thing, now we are going to also create another VM during the creation of this VM because it will take some time. So what we can do is we can start creating another VM, and to do that, a pretty easy way is to simply click on this, I think 3 lines on the left hand side, left corner, and just click on virtual machine. Yeah, currently you cannot see this VM because currently it is creating. Once it is created, you can find the information of this newly created VM right here. Now what we can do, we can choose a virtual machine, Same way, I think I'm not going to explain again and again this thing. So what we can do here, we can create a new RG because it will help us to manage our resources correctly. So I give the name Harsh RG2. So here the VM name, so Harsh VM2, pretty easy. I'm going to choose East US2 because we have a condition from our organization as an example to choose the same region. We don't want to use another region for availability zones at the moment. So East US2, and after that availability zones, and this time we are going to choose 2 instead of 1. All right, so as soon as you choose 2, next option is we need to choose Windows 10. So yeah, I think we choose last time this one. We are fine. Choose the right size. I think we choose last time B1MS2. Yeah, we are going to choose for this one as well. Now just the username. Yeah, you can use any username, it's fine. Now the password, I'm going to use the same password. And final step, yeah, I would like to allow RDP port number 3389 for this VM creation as well. So as soon as I click here, just click review and create. It will also go to the validation pass. And once the orchestrator has confirmed that the information or this kind of size is available in East US2 in availability zones 2, it will just pass the validation, and we need to simply click on create a new VM, right? Pretty easy, pretty simple. I don't think so you find any difficulty to create this VM, correct? So now what we can do for better understanding, we simply go to home and now go to virtual machine, because we can find out that if the virtual machine, yeah, as you can see, the Harsh VM1 is currently creating. And after a few seconds or even 1 minute, you can find Harsh VM2 is also in creating state. And once both VMs are ready to run, I mean, it's in running condition, we will come back and I will show you where you can find option for availability zone. And I will also show you how you can connect the VM correctly, what is running in, inside the Azure platform. So I will pause this video and we'll come back again. Alright guys, now our VMs are currently ready and they both are running, as you can see right on the page. It took around hardly 3 minutes and couple of seconds. So now you can imagine that how much easy is to create a virtual machine inside Azure, and also just to choose or make your VMs highly available. It's a matter of couple of clicks and your VM is currently ready in the cloud deployment. And actually that's the reason I like cloud infrastructure very much, because I don't need to wait for other VMs to first ready and make available first. It's just like you can do things simultaneously, and it's really a great way. You don't need to worry about network because it has been already deployed by Microsoft. Now next thing is let's try to understand a little bit more about availability zones. So as I click on Harsh VM1 as an example, and right now you can see a new option which is called availability zone 1. But if I choose the previous VM which is already created, you won't find this option here. And similarly, you can find for Harsh VM1 is in let me just choose this one, in 1 availability zones, and in for VM2 is currently on 2nd. So right now our VM is ready, and if anything goes wrong into any one of the availability zones, data center, power outage, or any other disaster, you don't need to worry. You have a same VM currently available on other availability zone, and it is currently running, and you don't need to worry about that because it's highly available, and 24/7 business continuity, it's right there for you. So yeah, I think it's pretty easy for you to understand, and you won't find any trouble to create this VM in the highly available scenario and choose the right availability zones. Pretty easy. Now let's move forward to the paired region and try to understand how we can choose the paired region. I think it's going to be pretty much easy for you as well, and you won't find any trouble to achieve that goal as well. Pretty easy. So guys, for Azure paired region, again, it is very much easy to choose the right paired region and start deploying your infrastructure. So I think we have already covered this Azure regional pairs in the previous videos for a paired region. But just to mention here that where you can find information and which specific paired region you need to choose during the deployment. Because as an example, today we have created our availability zones in East US2. So according to this, East US2 has a paired region which is currently in Central US, right? So accordingly, we need to actually start creating our VM in Central US. So one way is you can directly create your VM in Central US. We will talk about that later, how we can use paired region. But yeah, in this practice, we are going to choose the right paired region to start creating our infrastructure. So for that, simply go to virtual machine. And here you need to click add virtual machine. I think do the same thing. I'm not going to board you again. So here as an example, Hirsch RG3, choose OK, Hirsch VM3. So here I'm going to choose Central US. So let me check where we have this information, Central US. So here, no need to choose availability zones because we are talking about here the paired region. We are not talking about availability zone. So don't be confused in this. So choose already the Central US as a part of paired region, which is a great idea. And after that, choose the right Windows. It should be Windows. Yeah. All right. So Windows 10. Let me choose Windows 10 here. So for this, I'm going to choose this, and let's try to do it fast. B1S, it's good. Let's give the username and the password. All right, so our password is currently ready. RDP is ready. I confirmed, and review and create. So again, it will check for the validation, and once the validation is passed, we are going to create this VM in Central US. So what does it mean? Actually, we have chosen the right paired region in terms of if any disaster happened, we can certainly check for the paired region. And not only that, we can have further more options or services where we can choose the paired region deployment for our infrastructure. So at the moment, I just try to show you that how you can choose the paired region during the deployment. I think it is pretty easy. You won't find any trouble, and I think it's not going to be that hard you can think of. So now I just hit create our resources in Central US. So I'm going to just wait for a couple of minutes, and in that couple of minutes I will pause this video and I'll get back to you or come back when the VM is ready so that we can start checking and talk about a little bit more on this. So our VM is ready right now. So right now, to talk about a little bit more about these resources and what kind of information is actually created inside the resource group, it would be really much interesting, and I think you should know that. So basically, to know that what kind of resources and what kind of information is created, we just create the VM. So when you try to create a VM, you just choose the basic information and automatically it does done by the orchestrator of Azure. But actually during the creation of your VM, you just simply create these all resources all together. The storage account name is Hirsch G3 Diag. Similarly, the IP address, virtual network like NSG, network security group, your NIC, network interface card, the virtual machine, and actually all sort of schedule. It's like for applying updates and all sort of thing. So now just think about how much easy it is here, because in the real time in the past for on premises, you need to do these all things manually. Right now we just choose the right options which we need. That's all. Now rest of the thing is done by Microsoft Orchestrator or Microsoft Azure in the backend. So that's how it is really a great way to start deploy your infrastructure in the cloud. Now, if you talk about a little bit more, now we already know about these resources. Let's go back to the virtual machine once again and try to find out what sort of information you can find here. So the first thing first, you can see the location, right? The East US2, East US2. Now this is availability 1, availability to, and here we choose Central US as a part of paired region, correct? So I think it's not going to be difficult for you to create or practices these things. Now the next step is let's try to connect and try to troubleshoot if we find any problem during the connection, because I'm pretty sure sometime you find some kind of troubleshooting issues, or sorry, not a troubleshooting issues, some issues for those you need to start troubleshooting. Yeah, that's a correct word. All right, so for this, as in practice, I'm going to choose Harsh VM1. You can do two things. I think you have already seen this information in the past. One, you can simply click on connect and choose RDP, because this is the Windows operating system and we are going to choose RDP protocol to connect with this. Second, if you already have RDP client, you can also give the IP address, the public IP address, as you can see right here, 20.49.6.235. Simply type this IP address and it automatically connect to this VM if your RDP protocol is correctly configured, because by default there are two kind of rules: inbound, outbound. I'm not going to explain very much in detail, but I think it is a necessary step to at least show you where you can find this inbound port, whether it is allowed or how your rules are actually set up, so that you can configure these kind of rules correctly to allow RDP to access your VM. So for that, you simply need to go to the VM, and after that you need to choose let's start with the networking. So as soon as you click networking, you can find inbound port rules and outbound port rules. So basically you can see that currently in the outbound there's nothing, but in inbound there's a RDP protocol is configured with the highest priority, because currently the priority is 300, which is the highest among all. And why it is a warning sign? Because because as I said, you are exposing your VM to all the people, because currently it has assigned public IP address. So we have express route, we have a very dedicated site-to-site VPN access. We will talk about that in the future videos, not here. But I think what you need to do, you can try first to connect your VM, and if we identify any problem, we will try to fix it in this video. So let's click on overview and just click connect RDP. So what it does, it will allow us to download one RDP file, or either you can directly also test your connection if you want. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I can able to connect because I have internet access on my machine. So right now I download this RDP file. Just click on this RDP file, connect. If everything good, it will show you this wizard, and here more options, because the correct username is not Harsh Yangra. So what I have to do, I have to just click on use different account and type in the correct username and the password. So once you type in the username password, it will try to connect. I think pretty easy, right? So I think right now, if you can see this screen, we are already almost connected. Simply click yes. So it means our ports are correctly configured if there is no problem, and we are able to see the RDP screen. So yeah, there we go. So we have now trying to connect inside the VM with that RDP access. So it does require, and it has configured correctly all the ports for us. So again, as I said, that it's not at all difficult way to manage your VM or to access your VM. So obviously it will take some time to make sure your VM is running, because this is running for the first time. So it's all blank screen. So I'll do one thing, I'll wait for a couple of minutes and or even second. Oh yeah, it's coming up quite slowly because I'm in currently in Shanghai and this VM is in US. So I think you already know about the latency, right? You heard about this in my previous video, high latency, low latency. So this is a great practice actually if you do it in a practical way, and you can find the changes if you choose the data center nearby you. It is able to, I mean, you are able to access it pretty much fast. But if you choose a far away region to deploy your infrastructure, I think the experience is right in front of you. So I'll do one thing, I'll wait for couple of minutes. I think no need to wait. You already know now. I mean, it just allows you to log in and you can start doing things inside the VM with an easy way, right? So pretty easy. There's no issue, I believe, correct? Now, before to leave for today's video, because now we are using free account, and I think most of you are using free account, not me, but for me as well, I have also limited, set of money. As you can see, I have only $100 remaining out of $150. So definitely, I'm always worried about this credit, like, will be finished, and if it finished, I cannot do anything on my Azure portal. So to do the best practices, at least for you guys, because you are learning Azure, so what you can do is, once your practice has been done, you already create these VMs, you try to access the VM, everything is running, and you find, hey, I have done already these practices, now it is absolutely fine, I don't need this VM. Because in that like in Azure you can create these VMs just in 2 or 3 minutes, so it's not gonna take a lot of time to waste while creating these VMs. So it's gonna be good if you delete these VMs straight away after you create. But guys, not just virtual machine has money actually involved. It has public IP address, it has network interface card, and all other resources also associated with some amount within your subscription. So what you can do best here to delete your resources, definitely there are 2 ways. One is from PowerShell, and second from UI. And I think most of you preferred UI, but I will try to show you how you can delete your resources from PowerShell as well as from UI as well in this video. So right now this is the last step. I don't think you will say, hey Harsh, this video is gonna so long, so please try to finish fast. Don't worry guys, this is the last step. All right, so what you can do right now we have already done practice, I assume that. So what we can do is simply go to resource groups, and in resource groups you have, obviously I have already created a couple of resource group, but I think you remember we have created 3 resource group in this video. One is Harsh RG1, Harsh RG2, and Harsh RG3, right? So we can try delete any one of them. Now, first of all, we would like to see what kind of information we can find inside this resource group. So as soon as you click on this resource group, you can find all these resources available. So right way to delete all these resources is, make sure first your VM is already disconnected, or I mean you are not connected live, because once we delete the virtual machine, it may show, hey, your VM is currently in use. First you need to stop your VM, or at least whatever you are currently connected, make sure you disconnect all of your session first. So that's been done already. Now next step is to choose all of them and simply click on delete right here. After you delete this, now go back, after outside RG3, select here and if it won't allow us to choose from here in ... because previously I was able to see, somehow Microsoft is keep updating, which is a good sign. So another thing is, you can simply click on delete resource group after deletion of all the resources inside the resource group. I think it's pretty easy. Or if you want me to do it, better do it. Let's do it. So I select all of these resources, click delete. Are you sure? Because obviously it will ask you, are you sure about this? Yes, I'm sure. Simply click delete, and obviously we need to wait for this to deletion. You would like to observe the progress, it's right here. And one more thing, sometime you'll also find out some issue regarding the deletion. Obviously guys, each problem, each sort of error messages leads to the different issues or different errors. So I cannot explain everything at the moment, that, hey, what is the meaning of this error, or you can find only these many errors. Yeah, it depends on different situations and different practices. So yeah, what you can do is, if you find any trouble, you can also ask me in the comment box. I will try to update or respond you back as soon as possible. So yeah, this is one of the steps. And the second step, while it is deleting at the moment, because we choose Harsh RG3, another way is the PowerShell. So guys, previously we always use PowerShell from here, Windows PowerShell, right? If you remember. But here you need to do some extra step, means you need to first connect to the Azure PowerShell, because you need to download Azure module which has all the Azure PowerShell you can run to delete or manage your resources. So I think another good way, obviously I will also show you how you can do that, but not in this video. So what you can do is you can do simply click here on Cloud Shell, and what it does, it actually allows us to manage all our PowerShell commands right in the shell in Azure portal. It's a great things. You don't need to now depends on Windows PowerShell and to do all the things. However, which option you should choose here? You better click on PowerShell to move forward. And now it will ask you to create a storage, because it has to save some information about what exactly what exactly the commands we are running. And sometime it also required to run some Terraform or some other kind of script directly inside the shell. So temporarily we need to save those information, and it actually goes to this storage account. So what you can do, simply click on create storage, and as soon as you click create storage, it will try to connect to this subscription, or you can say with this whole context of the subscription, and it will allow us to manage our resources from the Cloud Shell. Yeah, while it is taking some time, as you can see, our resources has been deleted already for Harsh RG3, and the last step is delete resource group, and I'm going to do it manually right now. So type the name of the resource group, and the name of the resource group is Harsh RG3. So as soon as you type in, click delete. What it does, in just a couple of seconds, you will see that this resource group has been also deleted successfully without any problem. So guys, it's actually pretty easy, right? Now somehow Cloud Shell is taking some time. Maybe it's trying to create a storage account in ES2. Wow, finally it is created and it is succeeded. So I will just keep quiet for some time. You will find, hey Harsh, thank you so much for keep quiet. And I must say thank you once again to telling me this. all right guys, sorry, I won't give you much time on this. So it's almost ready, and currently it's been succeeded connected. Now it's trying to connect with the shell, where we can try deleting those resources straight inside the PowerShell. And the PowerShell command, I think this is another good way to manage, and I'm pretty sure who love Linux, everybody likes to use PowerShell. Although some people like PowerShell, some might not, but yeah, it depends on the personal preferences. But in this video series, I will try to balance both UI and from the PowerShell, and try to share some script or some kind of information with you, so that it will be easy for you to when you start deploying your resources. So we are ready with this, and the command for deleting our resource group is remove. First type the remove, and after that AZ resource group. Once you type this, give the name. What is the name of the resource group? Currently we have deleted Harsh RG3, so I'm going to type Harsh RG2 as an example. So as soon as I type, it will ask me, hey Harsh, are you sure you want to delete this? Just like it asks us from the UI. I said yes. I just type yes and press enter. Now what is the problem? Wow, prohibited. Resource group does not exist. Phew, finally. Yeah guys, it took me around 5 minutes, and I found the problem. Actually, the problem was regarding my subscription. Eventually on my current subscription, I have 2 different subscription IDs associated, and actually I have created one of these resources today we have created for our video is in different subscription, and that's how it is showing us that this resource group does not exist. But after that, I type in the command after I change and set my subscription correctly. As you can see, it's right here with AZ account set -- subscription and the correct subscription ID, and that's how I identify the subscription information from my Azure portal as well. So as soon as I type the command remove AZ resource group -name Harsh RG2, Yeah, I was able to delete, and it will automatically able to delete. At least we don't see that the same error is right there because resource group does not exist. So finally, because I thought that you might see, hey Harsh, there's a problem and you are telling us you're going to help us in troubleshooting, and now you made a problem and you did not tell us what was the result. So that's why I took a little bit hard, just 5 to 7 minutes to identify that what exactly the subscription I'm currently using, because I have 5 or 6 different subscription associated actually. But that's all for just for the information purpose. I think it's already been done, and we have quite spent some time in today's video. So I think you find this video quite informative and helpful, because in this video we actually learned that how you can set up your availability zones and how you can choose the right paired region to deploy your infrastructure. Yes, there are a couple of more troubleshooting regarding, or at least the deployment regarding paired region. We will talk about that in the near future, so don't worry about that. But today I think we have learned enough, and you better start practicing those things, because if you do it together with me, it will be very much easy for you and you'll be very much confident to start deploying. And I can tell you one more thing. Obviously it is absolutely new to you. You can definitely find lots of different kind of problems during deployment, during implementing solutions. Don't worry, I'm here. You can ask me, and as far as my knowledge concerned, if I'm aware about those problems, I will certainly share with you and help you to resolve together. So yeah, that's all for the day now, guys. And once again, I hope you find this video actually knowledgeable and you actually start learning together with me in the practical. So I'll do one thing. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, please take care of yourself. Wish you have a good day. Have a good time. Peace.